Hi, my name is Jamar, and this is a channel called Jamar's Hands, where I take stuff apart and we look at what's inside them. And I don't know how this is going to go, but today we have something very exciting, very old. I mean, y'all already read the title, so we got Nintendo 64 console. Wow, this thing does not really fit in the frame, but came out in 1969, I believe, by Nintendo. Pioneered so many 3D games, most famous of which is Super Mario 64. Really significant, one of the most significant consoles in gaming, I would argue. And today we're going to take it apart. Now I have seen inside one of these, but I didn't go any farther than, well, I'll tell you where I got to. So let's start by taking out, there's this jumper pack here. This is where a memory pack would go, and there's a little sticker there that I don't really want to ruin, and I don't think we really got to get that out. But it says do not remove jumper pack. I don't really want to destroy that, if I'm completely honest. So we're just gonna go over to the back and start taking out screws. And to use that, I've got an iFixit driver kit. Love these guys. Give these guys money. And I've got an iFixit pry tool. iFixit's real big on right to repair and everything, and that's really important to me. If you don't know about right to repair, just start watching Linus Tech Tips. You'll hear all about it. We're gonna start getting this open. Some of these screws can be kind of annoying because it's a kind of a weird screw standard. If you see, it's like a circle, but it's got some points on it. Let's see if I can get one of these screws in here. You can't really see it. But it's like when I get a screw out, I'll show you. But it's like a circle, and it's got a bunch of points on it, and you got to put a bunch of pressure. And you know how I was talking about right to repair? Yeah, Nintendo put these in here to kind of make it more difficult to open these things, which, I mean, this console pioneered 3D games, and it also pioneered technology being a bitch to open, let me tell you. Because companies didn't really start using these type of screws for a long time. Or not like specifically these type of screws, but like screws that make it difficult to get stuff apart. And these screws also, they're like threaded into plastic, I think it feels like. And so it kind of sucks because they don't really come out. The foot came off. Now I bet I can show you one of these screws. Here we go. Look at that thing. What is that? It's just got a bunch of points on it. And as you can see, I've got the iFixit build kit. Comes with every bit you'd ever need. This is not sponsorship. If you notice, I have 0 subscribers right now, so it couldn't be sponsorship. But I just really like that company, and I really like this build kit. It was like $70, worth every penny of it. We're just gonna continue getting these out, and I'll probably speed this up. Now I just finished taking out all the screws, and there's something I realized. Oh yeah, wait. Before I say that, let me just call attention to this build kit comes with a tray, and I should probably put all these screws in there so I don't lose them. Now, these little feet come off, which is kind of interesting, I guess. Probably so you can put extensions on it, actually. And what I was going to talk about was this extension port, which I believe you could play there's an extension you could get to play Game Boys on this, Game Boy games, and I don't know if let me look it up. So this is a party trick I've been planning. Let's get this out of here and bring in, wait for it, ignore that, wait for it, oh yeah, the keyboard. I've got a computer right in front of me, and so and we are gonna look up. What was I gonna look up? Oh yeah, N64 extension port uses. It was not used for the Game Boy player. The ext port on the bottom of the N64 was only used in Japan for the N64 disk drive. Apparently never any known purpose on the worldwide market. Okay, that's what I wasn't sure about, whether that existed. But I swear, no, I'm thinking of the GameCube. Okay, never mind. Let's get this keyboard out of here. The GameCube had a Game Boy player that attached to the bottom of it, but the N64 apparently did not. But it was used. I did actually know about this. I just wasn't 100% sure. The extension port was used for a Japan-only extension, it's called the N64 disk drive. I'll put a picture up on the screen, but it's basically a thing that it's like that big, and it goes on the bottom of the N64, and you can play disc games with it. It was kind of, I don't know, it's kind of pointless. It wasn't really that widely used. It never left Japan, but for now, I think this thing should pry open. If we check all the screws, they're all out. Now here's the scary part. I have actually had this open before, and I know there's no glue, but it would suck if I missed a screw and tore a screw out of this thing because it's pretty old. No, I'm hearing plastic clips. There it is. What the hell? That doesn't look right. Maybe that's right. Oh, it's the button interfaces. Duh. So we got a switch here. Up and down. Up and down. And that interfaces with this part of the board, which should go up and down. Oh, no. That interfaces with this part of the board. See, when it folds over, it'll go over this, and it'll go up and down. And this is a button interface. As you can see, when I press the button, this thing goes up and down, and which will press this. Now that we are inside, we are looking at a whole bunch of metal, and really what I think this is, set that to the side. What I think this is the heat sink, as well as just protection for the board. We're down to Phillips head screws, which I get to use actual normal screwdrivers now. Got a red LED, which lights up a little LED panel at the front. We got, this is the game slot, which I believe I got Super Mario 64 here. Yep, there it goes. Pops in there. And this is where the expansion port I was talking about at the very beginning plugs in. You can see that's still in the top of the case. And what this port was for was there's a RAM expansion that was needed for some games, like Donkey Kong 64 and a bunch of other games. But for now, I've actually got a big boy screwdriver for this. I'm just going to start taking out screws and see how far we get. So I'm just going to start unscrewing screws. Now the way I organize screws when I unscrew things is I've got the screws that I first took out just in the bottom. I'll put those in the bottom corner actually, just because those are kind of obvious because they're the weird ones. And then now I'm gonna put this, I'm gonna line it up next to what I'm doing, and I'm gonna kind of associate screws with their position. So these black screws go here, so I'm gonna put these right in this middle top-ish part. And as I go through and take out more screws, I'll build kind of like a map of the inside of the device around those two. Now that's glued down, or it's just bent against that pretty hard. I'm wondering if I take out this, and this, will this whole metal piece come up, is what I'm wondering. Let's see. So you see this is like right next to the these black screws, and so I'll put it right next to it. And now this one that's on the other side, I'm not gonna put it on the other side. I'm gonna put it with its friend, but I'm just gonna. It's kind of a weird system. So like you'd think I'd put it here, but like I want to kind of keep all the same ones in the same compartment. Let's see. Let's take out this one too. See what happens. Oh, something moved with that one. It's also weird. There seems to be like there should be a screw there, or like it was never installed. Huh. Interesting. Part of the port is coming up. Put that right there. This is bending, and I don't know why. Will this entire center assembly come up? Those screws on the ports. Screws around. That's how it is, I bet. Okay, let me fold this back down. I hope I didn't break that. I bet I didn't. So these 6 gold screw, or I guess it's 5 because there should be one there, but it's missing. I guess logic would dictate there'd be one there, but it's just a plastic peg. 5 gold screws around the edges. I bet this whole thing will come up, and I bet we can flip it over and start undoing stuff that will let us get this big old heatsink off, because that's kind of my main goal right now. So start undoing these screws. Oh yeah, the whole thing just moved. Real nice screws in this thing. I must say, Nintendo. Big ups on the screws. This port is still holding it down. There's definitely just like one screw that I'm missing. I'm gonna unscrew it. This whole thing's gonna fall apart. Okay, all 5 of those screws are out, and it's moving a little bit, but there's still something in the center holding it down. I'm not gonna pull much harder on that. These could go all the way through. Those could definitely go all the way through. Now I'm wondering, I'm looking at this a little bit more. I'm wondering if I take these out, will this just slide out? So I'm gonna go ahead and take these out, but this does feel glued or something. I don't know, something's fishy. I don't really understand this area. There's a couple layers there, and I've taken out a bunch of screws, but I don't really know what's up with that. And I started taking out these frames, or these screws either side of, oh yeah, they definitely did, either side of the slot, because they look like they go into the plastic chassis, and they definitely do, but there's down in the center, because this is like middle center. There's a reason to it. It works out. You just gotta trust the process. Okay. What kind of movement we have here? It's moving a little bit more. I wonder if we get this out, will it get real close? And now I'm wondering if these go to the chassis, and we can get this whole thing up. I don't really know how this YouTube channel is going to work out. I have edited a bunch of YouTube videos, like gaming YouTube videos, but there's still something holding it down. I bet it's these 4 right in the center. I have edited a bunch of gaming YouTube videos, and so I know how to like cut things and stuff, like cut video, not cut things. I guess I do know. That's just spinning, huh? I wonder if it's out of the plastic thread and it'll come up. I got some tweezers somewhere, but I don't know where they went. What am I thinking of? Captive. It feels captive, like a captive screw. Like, there are these, ooh, that one's got some torque on it. There are these captive case screws, like in PCs. I got one out. That one came out. That's a real short boy. That definitely didn't go into the chassis. Right about the center. There are a shit ton of types of screws in this bitch. I wonder, I bet that's for mounting pressure for the, whatever type of processor this is. something moved. Shit. Ferris screwdriver on magnet. Okay. This whole thing just came up from the chassis. You see that? Now I'm wondering if the screws either side of the RAM expansion port are responsible. And if I take those out, will like a big old thing come up. Oh, look at that thing. Can I get it to focus? Oh yeah. Fucking Galaxy S21. Who said Androids have bad cameras? Are you kidding me? Look at the definition on that. If y'all haven't taken anything apart, you should try it. It is my jam. Oh yes. Oh. And there is the disk drive expansion port. I guess EXT port is what Nintendo called it. We have, this is a cover for this thing, whatever port this is. That is video out, I believe. It's got a weird cable. I'll show y'all the cable, one sec. This thing is weird. It's like proprietary. This is the cable, but we don't really care about the center of it, so I'm going to put that down here, and we just have either end. Weird proprietary connector. I don't think this is used anywhere else. You got 2 channels of audio and 1 of video. You got video, and then left and right channels. I don't know which is which, and I don't care, and I bet my bullocks that you guys don't care. Now back to the N64. I don't know what to do from here. I've taken out pretty much every screw. Every screw, if you count these, is being taken out, which I don't really, but I wonder if I flip this upside down and rotate this. It's like captive, I swear. Oh, it just came out. Oh, and there are washers on that. Look at the janky mess of washers on that boy. 2 random washers on a screw Nintendo? Come on. What is this, a Sony product? Kidding, I love you, Sony. Way better than Microsoft, let me tell you. Okay, let's see if we can get this one out too. And I'm going to start pulling on things because I assume there's some kind of Y'all hear that? Something's rattling around in there. And I'm wondering if it's a screw. Let's see if I can get this one out using the same method. Comment down below whether it's worth it to start a Handpicks Patreon. Also, when you're taking stuff apart, if you're not super confident you'll be able to get it together, take a shit ton of pictures. I mean, I didn't really do that, but I do have this video of my dumbass talking about everything. Get out of there. God, it's in such a weird spot because my finger, I'm trying to rotate it, but I can't because it's right up against this thing. Okay. But it's de-threaded from whatever it was originally threaded into, and that just came apart. Oh my god. That is what it was threaded into. No, that's what the other one was threaded into. The screw that was here, this screw, my system's working so well, let me tell you. Went into this nut, which is why I'm going to put the nut with the screw. Appears to have sandwiched this all these metal pieces, which are actually coming apart. And the reason I couldn't get that apart is because I couldn't hold that nut down because I didn't know the order of repair. Now is these, oh fuck, okay. Shit, where were those? Those were in the port, okay. Entiendo. Put these down on the bottom. Okay. Oh, look at that. What is that piece of metal right there? That is beautifully machined though. I think that's machined. Yeah, it's totally machined. This is just a metal shroud. It's probably for what's it called? Electromagnetic interference protection. Because like electricity, like if you like a wire with electricity puts off like a slight magnetic, it's just slightly magnetic, and it puts off like some electrical waves that can mess with electronics if there's not a piece of metal between them. So that just protects it, because this might be more sensitive than what we have nowadays. But these are thermal pads. Now these are cool. They're kind of sticky, and what they do is they conduct heat from these big old processor chips. There's actually 2 of them, which is pretty surprising. I don't know if they're both processors or what, but to this heatsink, which would heat up, and it's got some mass to it, and so this would hold a bunch of heat and dissipate it to the air. And these aren't super powerful, so you don't need like heat fins or like a major cooling system. You just need kind of a chunk of metal attached to it. And this is actually more substantial than the cooling solution in the Apple, was it the Apple, what the fuck is it called? The Apple Air laptop? What's it? MacBook Air, that's what it's called. Which is more substantial than the cooling solution in the MacBook Air, which is an even smaller piece of metal. What does the PNUS do? It's a graphics card. Holy shit, that's actually cool as hell. Okay, graphics card. Okay, I'm not 100% on this, and I just Googled for 2 seconds, but I'm like pretty sure this thing has separate chips for graphics and logic calculations. But that's what I've heard a lot. Oh, this just came off. This is a little heatsink on top of another chip. It's some kind of, is that RAM? I bet that's RAM. You know, I bet that's RAM because of the RAM expansion port. You can see all the traces going straight through it to the CPU. And if you don't reinstall these type of things, these little heat sinks, another thermal pad on that, you can fry these type of things pretty easily, because unlike gaming computers, I've got one right there. Y'all want to see it? Fine. Unlike gaming computers that have a shit ton of, it's pretty hot, isn't it? They've got a shit ton of like temperature sensors and safety features and stuff. This just has this probably has maybe 1, probably 0 temperature sensors in it, so it doesn't know that this doesn't have a heatsink on it. The N64 doesn't know that its RAM is cooking itself, and stuff, a bunch of stuff goes wrong inside components, and they probably will break if they get too hot. They definitely will break if they get too hot. And so it'll cook itself, and you won't even know, and it'll just go black, and then the RAM chip will be dead, and this board will probably be dead, because who the hell wants to resolder all of that? I'm talking about this chip right here. Now I'm wondering, could that be, I have no idea what that is. It might just be a motherboard controller. MAVNUS. I bet it's a motherboard controller. Basically connecting all the stuff on the motherboard together and managing. This is by no means a guide. This is just out of curiosity. Yeah, that's kind of what the board looks like. I think it's all pretty interesting. Oh, and these are both crystals for timing, I believe. Let me just look up these numbers to make sure. Yeah, there's nothing on it, but I think that's a timing crystal, because timing crystal, like if you look at on board, like if you look at timing crystals, they look like the exact same as that. But these basically have little quartz crystals in them, and when you put electricity through quartz, it vibrates at a really specific and really consistent speed. And so you all these components can be timed at the same time. Everything else is soldered on. We can look at this little bottom heatsink, but other than that, we can put this back together. last screw. This screw head sucks. Just past snug, and it is all together. This is a really interesting sticker. It's Nintendo support sticker. You can get this installation, maintenance, and service. 1-800-255-3700. Nintendo authorized repair center. Wow, Nintendo really was the first Apple. There are Apple authorized repair centers. Now we're gonna power it up and see if it works. It is plugged in. Let's see if we got a light. We got a light. The power switch was on. Off, on. That works. God, this has turned into a mess so fast. Yellow to yellow. White to white. Red to red. We can take this off over here. Plug in the USB to my computer just for power. Then I've got a HDMI cable from Micro Center. Love you, Micro Center. Okay. Here we go. Plugged in, we got power lights. This is on 1080p. And it should be outputting to this monitor. I don't have any way to record the actual N64 footage. No, that's a little adapter. Oh, there it is. I've got no audio because that's why. Look at this beauty. Look at Super Mario 64. That's perfect. You can see I have not completed this game. We gotta do a triple jump for old time's sake. I don't know if I can do it with one hand though. I can't do it. I can't do it. There it is. Now let me do a backflip. There it is. Okay. And the N64 still works. Beautiful. I mean, not really a surprise. I didn't really have to do anything that risky. But yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. It means a lot to me that you made it this far in this probably long ass video. This is a new channel. I hope it works out. I hope it's fun to edit. And thank you. Bye.